Hello everyone, welcome to the new episode of Touchdesigner tutorial Generative Art. In this video we are creating the visual that you saw at the beginning of the video. Let's start. So first I bring a constant from chop, and for channel 1 I write res for resolution, and the parameter will be 2048. Now I bring a noise from top, and here I click on this star and I drop this resolution on common resolution. I want to have a square image, so I put it here. Chop reference for both of them will be the same resolution. So now I change the offset number to 0. I change the harmonics to 3.1. and I change the exponent to 0.66 and the amplitude on 1.15. So let's change the harmonic to 4 and put the harmonic spread on 3. So now we have this pattern. Now we go to transform. In translate Z, I write apps time dot seconds. Now we have this movement. Now I multiply it to 0.1 to have a slower movement. Now for rotate Z, I also write the same expression, but instead of multiplying it to 0.1, I multiply it to 15. Now we got like a rotation. And for the scale Y, I also put 5. Now you see we get like this movement that is kind of rotating, but it's not rotating from top. It feels like that it has some depth. Now we will go on with this one. Now I go to chop and I add a LFO. Here I change the type to Gaussian and the frequency to 0.15 for now, and I change the offset to 1.5 and the amplitude to 2, so our number starts from 1.5 and goes 2 more number. Now I use this number for my period chop reference. Now we have got this movement. Now I bring a feedback from top after my noise. So let's make this LFO like slower because it's very fast. I think that's good. And after the feedback, I add an edge. I lower down the strength to 0.1 and I add a transform. I add a level and I add a composite. Now from the noise, I get another connection to my composite. Now we drop the composite on top of the feedback. You can also drop it directly here. Now let's change the operation to over. Now we have this one. Now in the level we go to post, and in opacity we just lower down a little bit our opacity, 998, 0.998, and in transform we just move the transform Y. We can go here, press the middle click, and 1, 2, 3. Now it's minus 0.003. Now we get this effect. Now here I bring a lookup. I connect the composite to the first input of the lookup, and for the second input I bring a ramp. Okay, now I want to add color to this visual, so I add 1 point here, and let's make it a bit yellowish. So yeah, now I bring an edge again. I change the sample step to 4, 4, and I add a beller. I put this on 2 and this one on 13. Now let's make another composite, and I connect this edge and this blur to one composite, and I put it on maximum. Now I add another composite. I connect this and this. I leave it on multiply. Now let's bring another composite and connect this one to this one, and I put it on add. Now we get like a sharper image. So let's divide our screen. Here, top viewer. Here, I add a null and display control tabs. So now we see what's going on. So now here I add a level, and I get one branch from this beller to my level, and I change the brightness to 1.45, the gamma to 0.4, and the contrast on 1.4, or let's make it like more, 2.5. Now we got this, and let's add an edge again. We lower down the strength to 0.1. We add another edge, and we leave it like this. Now I bring a composite and I connect the last composite to this one. I leave it on multiply. Now we got the color of our image, and I add another composite and I connect this composite again, but this time I change the operation to difference. Now we have this. Let's connect this one now. And this is what we have so far. Now I add another color. Let's bring this down. Pressuring on 4 and filter size on 14. Let's add a level, 0.9 for brightness, 1.8 for contrast, and 0.5 for gamma. Now from here, the palette, you can open it here. We go to image filter and I bring the pixelate. I add the pixelate here. I connect the level to pixelate. Let's increase the horizontal and vertical size. 23, 25, let's say. And now I add another composite and I connect the level also here. So we have this one. Now let's add another composite. This file is full of composites. I connect this composite, the last one before this part here, to the last composite. I change it to difference. Now we got this one. Now I will get an edge from the pixelate. It's here. Now let's add another composite. So it should be after this. And let's connect this edge also here. Difference again. So our edge input is from pixelate, but now let's get it from this composite because we don't want to have like too many pixels. And let's increase the vertical pixel size to 28. I think now it's fine. Now from here, I add a limit from top again. I connect the last composite to the limit, and in quantize position, I change it to round. Now we have this. Let's change the position offset to -1 and change the position step to like 0.37. Maybe we get like more center. Okay, now I add a displace. First input will be the limit, second input will be the composite. Now we have got this, but we want to lower down the displace weight. So let's change it. We put this, the first one, the x1 on 0.22 and the Y on 0.25. Okay. Now we add another composite here and we connect these two. So here in the displays, I also lower down the UV weight a bit, like this. Now here in the noise, if we change the speed, if you want to change the speed of the rotation, we can change this number. Now it's like slower, but I think since we're using this flashy light and shadow, it's kind of okay. But let's change the scale again to 1. You see we have this view, and here now I add a keyboard in from chop, and I add a math after it. In the range, I change the range to range from let's say 5 to 1, and in noise, in scale, I use this one for the scale Y, and now whenever I press 1, we move to this view, and if I release 1, we go back. Now here before the limit, I want to try something because I think it's too flashy, and I want to just so if you want it to be less flashy, you can add a level and put it before the limit, and now you get like more lights, but you still have the flash. And here in quantize value, if you change this one, you can also add colors somehow. So let's now we have kind of a alpha here, so in the end I add an RGB key to get the background black. Now let's turn off the quantize value, and yes, that's it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. See you next time.